Oh, hi everyone, True Eyes Gamer here, giving off my vast knowledge so you may understand games a bit better. You're all confused about why this game here. Honestly, only good answer I got for you is because a friend of mine told me he had fond memories as a kid, so I thought I would try it out since he said he liked it as a kid, so. I regret this decision with every fiber of my being.
There was also the reason of because the same people who made this game also made the City Ducks game. A game that I utterly despise. I honestly wanted to see if they actually improved on anything, seeing how good they got during that time. So, is the game better? Yeah, but I still don't like it. It's so boring. I mean, bloody hell. I'm actually more surprised I got through the game at all. Though, while writing this, I also need to mention something here too. This is a kids game, I know. But let's talk about this weird standard for kids games. I mean, seriously, just because it's a game designed for kids doesn't mean it should be of less quality than other games. I mean, like, Mario is for everyone and in some regard is a kids game, but it's still good. Anyone can play them and have fun. Though then again, I've never played much of the Mario games, but point aside, you get my point. The quality in the end is what should matter. Nothing else should. But this is going on for too long, so this is Ratatouille. So we begin the game off somewhere in France as our main character Remy is going through a tutorial, and I'm pretty much going to stop talking about the plot here, because they don't seem to care about the story of the movie at all, like ever. Like, they will ignore the plot for multiple occasions, though will pretend it's always building towards something, whatever that something is. Like, throughout the game, we are asked to help out with the rat's plot of stealing food, which happens way later in the movie, but still, the game just accepts this, it goes on, and sometimes we control Linguini now, cause reasons? Yeah, they never build it up for any reason, as we help him make food, cause we gotta do this shit now, and
We need the chef special! We need it now!
Oh my head. Was that an Arnold impression? I'm sorry, was that an Arnold Schwarzenegger impression? I'm sorry.
Talking about the voices though, they did actually get a lot of the voice actors to come back here, so that was interesting. Though I can actually tell you that only Emile is giving off a good performance throughout this entire game, because everyone's just phoning it in mostly. Maybe except Remy too, but that's bare. And I might as well just stick with the technical side for a little bit, like talking about the graphics. They look pretty nice at times, in motion. They do their job pretty well, but if we're forced to just stare at them motionlessly, it's weird. They really did do a good job of copying the areas from the movie. It just feels a bit barren though. I wish they give it a little more oomph. That's the only way I can explain it. Though, going back to the plot, I would mention more random weird shit that happened, but it's just not engaging. The game just ends with nothing really special. It actually really shocked me that the game just ends with this shoddy ending. I mean, the plot just stopped giving a toss about what is happening, and it's kinda hard to give a crap when there is no real reason to care what's going on.
And I really have no real way of talking about the game's story without talking about the movie, and I don't want to be copyrighted strike. No one does. So let's just talk about the gameplay. Or what would I like to call gameplay?
I'll just be frank with you all, the platforming is just really boring, and really has no real challenge to it. Let me explain. See, every platforming level lacks any sort of real consequences. Anytime I die, I just literally respawn less than a few feet away from where I died, as I just continue on my way to whatever the heck I was doing, and that's terrible. Without the lack of consequences, what's the point of me doing good? Please, designers, make sure that your levels are not so easy that dying doesn't matter. You know, there is a reason why games had life system, because if there's no cost to respawning, it becomes hard to care, and it makes it boring to try even anymore. I mean, by the end of it all, I thought the game was just a simple platformer. And I mean that not to be just mean, I mean as in, I don't mind if a game's simple, only if it's engaging. Like, damn, Shinobi 3 is a bit easy at times, but damn is it fun and engaging to play. So what is the platforming? What can you do in the game anyway? Well, you got your platforming basics, you got your double jump, you got a useless tail whip for some reason, you got context action buttons like climbing, picking up stuff, and it's honestly, everything in the tutorial is all we have in this game. It's a bit shocking about how much it's not expanded on. I mean, it reminds me a lot of Sly Cooper. Yeah, I may have never finished those games, but hey, it looks like it. And you know what? Sly Cooper in the near future, just so we're all clear. And to go on about why I'm thinking of Sly Cooper when thinking about this game, it's mostly because of the idea of sneaking around while trying to do something that felt like that should have been the idea, more or less, but it's not. And you would think there would be more to it than that, but no. I mean, hell, honestly, the trickiest time I had with this game was when the game needed me to get the cookbook for the last level for some reason. I only had a hard time was because, like, I needed to get this can to go over here, but for some strange reason, the physics just forced it off screen for a little bit, then had to respawn right up there. Cause that makes sense. And that's really the problem with the gameplay. The platforming is just not interesting enough to carry any of the levels and the minigame. Oh yeah, the minigames. Yeah, there are minigames for some reason, and they're just press the right button to win, and honestly the only parts that I actually enjoyed were the slides and the running missions, as those actually had risk. The slides, as the name suggests, slide down some pipes to reach the end of the level, and I honestly think I liked them the most only because I had to do well, or else be forced back to the beginning. There was insane speeds you can reach too, so that may be why I enjoyed it too, because it had to be tricky to do, and you can actually increase your speed by holding down the right bumper, as you can also dash with it while doing normal platforming, and you can initial D everything. That's kind of cool. But it's annoying that every time I do it, it's like hard to control him at all, and he'll trip on anything. Even things I like, this game finds a way to making them annoying. The controls for the game I needed to mention now because I mentioned them earlier were pretty fine. They did their job pretty well. I mean, they were sometimes inaccurate, like doing context buttons always required me to do it a bunch of times for some reason. Though we need to talk about the running mission. Oh god, those. The running missions are done in the style of Crash Bandicoot levels where you need to run away from something that's trying to kill you. Now, these normally wouldn't be tricky if I wasn't running at full speed. Yes, I'm being serious. If you don't run at full speed, you can just do fine because full speed is too unwieldy at times to point to making it near impossible to do. Honestly, if I could ignore them, I would, though I did ignore the secret levels. Scattered throughout the game, there are some secret levels, but I never did them, and I only have this footage here for review purposes because they don't give anything of value. In fact, let's talk about all the collectibles in this game because they don't really give you anything except points. What do these points do? Well, they unlock things like concept art, movies, which are just behind the scenes things for movies, but not for this game. That would have been nice. There are cheat codes with difficulty selection, which I didn't know there was any difficulty modes to begin with because this game is so easy that I thought it was just normal. Honestly, I would talk on a bit more, but there's really nothing left to talk about. The game is that short. If you're not doing everything, you'll beat this game in like 2 hours or so, and if you're trying to do everything, maybe 4, if you're lucky.
In the end, I have nothing really good to say about this game. The game is just boring. There's not a lot of gameplay that's really interesting. The story is nonsensical at times, for whatever reason. The graphics are fine and the music is alright, but that's not really what's carrying the game. It's really not. Just ignore this game entirely. Next time, I don't know, something good for reals. Ugh.